Hey, we are Vanessa and Xander Marin. We
Hey.
are a married couple. We've been together just about 18 years, which feels crazy to say.
Mhm.
I'm a licensed psychotherapist specializing in sex therapy.
I started out as just a regular dude, no technical qualifications. Never thought I was going to be in this business, this type of field at all. But I slowly but surely got roped into it by Vanessa. And I guess I'm not, people tell me I can't say I'm a regular dude anymore. Like I'm underselling myself. So I'm more than just a regular dude. We talk about this stuff all the time. We've been doing this for years. So I like to think I kind of have the partner real life perspective.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
our specialty is really helping couples in long-term relationships keep the spark alive and normalize that it takes some effort to do so, that nothing's wrong with you, nothing's wrong with the relationship if it's just not feeling as you're not feeling as connected as you used to.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, we feel like those regular gals because we're kind of in the same boat. This is just a topic we've been talking about for 5 years, and now we feel like we have more credential. So I feel like that's where we can all relate, Xander.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're so excited to have you guys back on. The first time we had you on was within like the first like 30 episodes of Honeydew Me, I think. Right,
Yeah.
Cass? I don't know. It's been forever.
Yeah.
But yes, it's amazing to talk to you guys about relationships and sex. And what we want to get into today is kind of that time when we want to be having sex, but we're just not. Like when you're
Mhm.
in a relationship or even single, sometimes we have this desire to have sex with our partner, but it just never comes to fruition. So maybe we can start with a little backstory about what is going on there when sex just doesn't happen.
So let's start off by normalizing it.
Mhm.
So many couples get into this position in relationships, and this is something that we went through in our own relationship as well. Like
Oh
when
yeah.
when we met, things were super hot and heavy. The chemistry was out of control. Like it just felt like sign from the universe. This is your person. It's
Mhm.
so good. And then we had that moment that I think pretty much every couple in a long term relationship has, but nobody wants to admit that they have, where it's a couple years into the relationship. We'd moved in with each other. And I remember this moment crystal clear. I'm sitting on one of our sofas. Xander's sitting on the other end of the room on another sofa. We're both in our PJs. We had long, exhausting days at work. We're eating takeout straight from the containers. We're watching some super trashy Bravo reality TV show that I definitely forced him to
Obviously.
watch.
That I secretly came to love.
Enjoy.
Secretly loved. This one
Let's be real.
Yeah.
and I remember having this thought. I don't remember the last time we had sex. And at first, it was just an observation. But then the emotion of that moment struck me like, wait a minute. I don't remember the last time we had sex. And I'm not sure I really miss it that much. Like, so
Mhm.
what the heck happened to
Right.
us? This couple who had so much chemistry. And I felt this added layer of shame of like, I'm in the sex therapy field. This has been my passion for my entire life. And yet here I am not having very much sex and not really
Mhm.
missing it all that much.
Mhm.
So, that was a really challenging time for us. And even being a part of this field, like I really struggled to find any practical resources to help us understand what was going on and what did we need to do to reconnect with each other.
Mhm.
And so, to be totally honest with you, we really floundered for a
Mm.
while
Mhm.
and could not figure out like how to get things back on track. We had a lot of really crappy conversations about it where it just, didn't feel good, but eventually we mucked
Mhm.
through it enough to the point where we got things back on track and now, years later we have this incredible sex life that we've been able to sustain for very many years. But that initial experience really gave us the motivation and the passion to help other couples understand what is it that's going on that gets us into this place in the first place and
Mhm.
what do we do to get ourselves out of it. So
Mhm.
we've identified 5 of the most common reasons that couples get to this place of being in a dry spell, being in a
Mm.
rut. Also, by the way, we've surveyed our audience about this. 93% of couples in long-term relationships said that they've experienced at least one dry spell. And the
Wow.
other 7%
Well,
are
that's
lying.
validating.
Yeah, the other 7%
Or just
are
haven't gotten there
And
liars.
yet.
everyone
They
else
will.
is a fucking
They
liar.
will. It'll happen.
Right.
The other 7% hit the wrong button on the
Yeah.
Instagram poll.
Yeah, they and yeah, furiously DM'd you afterwards. Oh my God, can you change my
Yeah.
response? No, sorry, we can't change your
You
response.
can't change your response.
You're just a liar forever now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can go through like all 5 of these, but the first one is that you're not talking about it. And this is personally one of our favorite topics now because our sexual communication has come such a long way.
Mhm.
Oh, I mean, like from 0 to
Yeah.
where it is now.
I mean, I think one of the first conversations that we had when we were in that dry spell is me basically waiting until I was boiling over with frustration and irritation and confusion and sadness and just bursting out at Xander, like, why don't you ever want to have sex with me anymore?
Yeah, like a very accusatory.
Yeah. So there was no
Mhm.
taking responsibility on my part, even though I was over here sitting like, well, I'm not really missing it all that much. It was just purely on him.
Mhm.
Of course, for him, hearing me say, why don't you ever want to have sex with me in this really angry voice, like
Mhm.
didn't make him want to have a great, open, honest conversation with me back in return. So we had a lot of really bad conversations. And most couples, I think, are either in that same bucket where they haven't like had any positive conversations about it. It's just been fights, irritation, criticisms, and complaints. Or they're in the second bucket where you really haven't talked about it at all.
Mhm.
And I think it's really important for us to recognize that we are socialized to believe that we shouldn't have to talk about sex. Like,
Yeah.
think about every sex scene you see on TV and in the movies. You never see characters talking about
Yeah.
sex. Like, it just happens,
Mhm.
right? Like, and it's so beautiful and perfect and wonderful. And so even though rationally we might be able to understand, like, okay, life isn't exactly like in the movies, when you see that same scene played out
Mhm.
over and over and over again, of course we're going to internalize
Mhm.
that that's what it's supposed to be like. If you've really found your person, if the chemistry really is right between the two of you, you shouldn't have to talk about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Oh,
most
I'm
people
sorry.
just don't have good experiences with it.
Mhm. I had that exact same fight probably for like 6 months where it's like, I have no other words to say besides, why don't you want to have sex with me? And I'm sitting here and be like, I really hope he doesn't take me up on this. Like, I actually don't want to touch you. I'm bluffing, but I need you to tell me I'm pretty and that you want me. And then I can come to you when I feel more in the mood. But I was going to ask if you had any more examples of what that, like these hard conversations looked like for you guys in the beginning, once you actually got down to the weeds of like, okay, this is the conversation we should be having, not just me yelling at you being like, why aren't we having sex? Like, what does that healthy conversation and addressing the issue look like when you're talking well?
Yeah, well, I also, yeah, we can definitely talk about that. I also just
Mhm.
want to jump in and share a bit like what my experience was like being on the receiving end of that, because, I think this really illustrates like how that dynamic, and it doesn't end up being helpful for either party, because it's a good contrast with like what what the healthy version looks like. That it's so hard to be on the receiving end of something like that, because for me, I did want to be having sex.
Mm.
I was thinking about sex. I was wanting sex. And I was also, I was in a place in my career and personal life. I was super, super busy. I was super, super stressed. I was working these really long hours. And I wasn't seeing very much of Vanessa. I wasn't taking very good care of myself. And I wasn't taking very good care of the emotional connection between Vanessa and me. And so, I'm someone that, I have a somewhat spontaneous sex drive, but I'm someone that really needs a baseline level of emotional connection to feel open to sex.
Mhm.
That was something that took me a very long time, a very, very long time to realize. We're actually in the process of developing a new almost like intimacy styles model to share that we're going to start sharing with people in a couple of weeks. It's really, really exciting, but it kind of gets at looking at this, like, what is your sex drive type? And then like, what is your relationship with sex and connection? And so I've really only just started to put the pieces together, just like in this year, of realizing my challenge is like, I want sex. I'm thinking about it all the time, but I'm not feeling connected enough in order to, like, I don't have the emotional space to be able to be into it. And then when you hear your partner accusing you of like, how come you never want to have sex with me? It's like, in my brain, it's just like, this doesn't compute. I do want to have sex with you. But if I tell you that, you're not going to believe me, because it sure doesn't look like I want to, because it's not happening. But then I didn't have the language at the time to be able to be like, oh, like, it doesn't feel safe to have sex right now because we're super disconnected. We're ships passing in the night. I just thought, oh, well, I'm a guy. I'm supposed to want it all the time. Like, why can't you just do it? And then, when you try to just do it, your body doesn't work the way you want it to. So it's just like this total catch-22 situation. So it wasn't until we really like started seeing a couples therapist to try to talk about this to realize, like, hold on, like, we both need to take responsibility for our parts in this. This isn't like a one-sided thing. And then 2, like, I had to get really honest with myself about like, hey, I'm missing this emotional connection between us. I'm in a situation work-wise, career-wise, where I don't even have the space or time to create the emotional connection that I need. I have to make a choice about what's more important to me in life. Like I can't work 16-hour days and expect to have this just like fired up emotional connection with my wife. Like, it's not possible. There's not enough hours in the day. So I had to make a decision about like, okay, if I want that emotional connection, I have to start setting boundaries in other areas of my life. And so, for me, that was like what I had to do in order to start figuring that out. And thank God I figured that out then rather than later on in life.
So going back to the communication piece of it, what we try to help couples do is start building a positive foundation of talking about sex. What most of us do is we either don't talk about it or we don't want to talk about it. So we wait until we're really upset or bothered or frustrated or things aren't going well. And of course, if you leap right into talking about the super serious, heavy aspects of it, that's just going to feel very unsafe and scary and tough.
Yeah, so we had set up an unknowing situation where the topic of talking about sex was a scary topic because it had just come out as this, big accusation.
Yeah. So instead, we want couples to build this foundation of talking about it in positive ways. So we design a lot of our content on Instagram to actually open up those conversations. We're at Vanessa and Xander on Instagram. So where you could look at one of our reels and there's this way that you're able to distance yourself from it because you're not talking about your sex life. It's like, oh, look at this funny reel that they posted, or hey, they answered somebody else's question about their sex life. So you just get used to talking about sex as a topic of conversation. It's not even about addressing your sex life at first. Even once you start talking about your sex life, like, let's do it in positive ways. So one super simple, like one of our favorite ways of doing this is to talk about your favorite sexual memories with each other, like times that you've really enjoyed when you felt super connected. And you're not using it, there's no motive behind it. There's no like, yeah, remember that great time we had? Why don't we do that tonight? Or why do you never want to do that with me anymore?
Yeah, don't turn it in that direction.
Back on them.
Like, it's literally just reminding yourselves, hey, like, we have it in us. We have a good connection. So just talking about sex in a positive way, then you create this foundation where it makes it easier to start talking about the trickier stuff. But you've got to make it feel safe and comfortable first. Don't even go to the tough stuff until you've done that.
Yeah, 100%. My husband and I had a really difficult year the year our baby was born, and we just got super disconnected. And then I would do the exact same thing of like, why don't you want to have sex with me anymore? Like, you must hate my postpartum body. Like all of these wild accusations that it's just like, I'm sad and I'm hurt and I'm struggling, so I'm going to take it out on you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just needed to create those pockets for like positive, fun experiences around sex, which is actually one of the reasons that we joined your Deeper program or your Deeper membership.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And so we've been loving that. And it's just provided like a really fun space to be like, do we want to just go on and like look at a few fun things and like talk about it a little bit? So we've been talking a lot about initiation and just ways we've never talked about it before, because it's like, yeah, you just initiate sex, but it's like, no, it's so much deeper than that, pun intended.
Oh, I'm so honored that you signed up for that. We just launched that a couple months ago. It's really been like our baby that we've been trying to create, but with the intention of, couples who want more, who want to go deeper, who want more for their relationships, trying to create this space where it feels fun and playful and not this big, scary, heavy thing that it does for so many people. So I'm so glad that you guys are part of that.
And great to hear that. Yeah, you're using it like in such the way that we intended for it to be used, of just like, like hop in and have a good 5-10 minutes here and there and have a good experience. I think that so many of us, it's like we think that on the one hand we should never have to talk about it at all and it just happens, or we think if that's not working we must have a real big problem, and then it's like we got to go to therapy twice a week for 6 months. It's like there's a happy medium that is not even in the middle. It's like still way over towards the almost no work, where it's like 5 to 10 minutes of fun stuff, like once or twice a week. That's like fun and connecting and maybe even sexy. Like why would you want to say no to that?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
100%. Like the first time you guys were on, I think was the first time we ever really heard about scheduling sex. And I think that was such a big reframe for us. And I think in this, period of my life with children and work and just everything that adds up, it's nice to have like a structure to fall back on. You know what I mean? Because it's like when we sit down in bed, it is so easy to put on Netflix. Like it is so fucking easy. And so it's like, okay, but so we'll even say like, can we take the first 10 minutes and like go do something with Deeper, or just like make out for 5 minutes? Like, can we just try one of these things first and then we can go to Netflix? Then we could do that.
Yes,
and so it's nice to just have that structure to fall back on when it's like, otherwise it's just not going to happen. It's just not realistically.
Yeah, we have to be so intentional about it. I've started calling scheduled sex intentional intimacy instead, because most people hear scheduled sex and they're like, ew, gross, I don't want to.
They hate it.
I'm like, we just have to be intentional. I mean, we're the exact same way. Like, we will go crash out on the couch and watch Netflix and cuddle with the dogs like in an instant. We have to be really thoughtful about like, let's prioritize us. We are more important. And even if it's let's set the bar low, like let's just go spend 5 or 10 minutes with each other and then we can come over to Netflix. But it really makes such a big difference when you prioritize your relationship, because you're sending each other the message like, you're more important to me than Bravo. Which like
that is,
and like sometimes that's a toss
an honor.
Sometimes that's
that?
it depends on the show.
Old Vanderpump? I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
It's pretty much a tie. Wow. This feels so huge that I'm shocked that there's 4 more reasons we're not having sex, because this feels like the main fucking thing that I can't wait to get into.
Communication is it's such a central thing.